Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Raiders Daily. My name is Jackson. I post daily Raiders content, so be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button. Now, after watching the conference championship games, my opinions are starting to sway. I've been pretty open to the idea of drafting C.J. Stroud. I understand, the offensive line is a massive concern. The defense in general is a massive concern. I understand it. But if we're calling spades, and there's been some Derek Carr drama and news, what else is new in the last month or so? I'm pretty sick of that whole situation, to be honest with you guys. C.J. Stroud is very enticing to me at number 7. All right, and I had a thought process, and I know Cincinnati. I've got a couple of reasons actually. I know Cincinnati lost the game to the Kansas City Chiefs, but what did we notice in that game? And they actually go hand in hand here. First off, what's the Super Bowl? Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. What are they both? They're both playmakers, right? We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But Cincinnati, a couple of years ago, they had a decision. Do you want Jamar Chase or do you want a beast offensive lineman in Penei Sewell? Well, they decided to go with Jamar Chase. And like I said, I get it. The Bengals lost, and the Bengals lost the Super Bowl last year, but hey, I'll take a loss in the conference championship. I'll take a loss in the Super Bowl and an extremely bright future over not even making the playoffs and winning, a handful of games. Severely under 500, right? So I get it. The offensive lineman from Northwestern is enticing. The defense is enticing. I get it. But I want a Patrick Mahomes. I want a Jalen Hurts. And if we're just keeping it a buck, and I'm not trying to, kick Derek Carr while he's down, at the end of the day, a fact is a fact, and Derek Carr was very inconsistent for the entire season. Yes, he had glimpses, and yes, he's an above-average quarterback, but I'll say he's not a great quarterback. Can you win with Derek Carr? Probably in the right system. I'm still going to take Mahomes. I'm still going to take Burrow. I'm still going to take Hurts over him. But, yeah, we saw last year, you can definitely make the playoffs with Derek Carr. I think, the fact Derek didn't have any playoff wins, and I get it, the Raiders' defense and the coaching, it's just been extremely chaotic in his entire tenure, and he deserves better, and I wish him the best of luck. But I can't lie, man, C.J. Stroud at number 7, as the days go by, I'm becoming more and more enticed by it. And I get it, there's a huge kind of idea. It's like a black cat of Ohio State quarterbacks. They have a horrible track record, a horrible history of just their quarterbacks in general. And I get it, Joe Burrow, Ohio State transfer. I don't put too much stock into that, but I have this feeling, because you guys know I'm from Chicago, not a Bears fan, but I do like Justin Fields. I do. I get it, he has his flaws, but I really think Justin Fields is going to be the one that just changes the narrative with Ohio State quarterbacks. And so I would hate to not take an Ohio State QB just because of their previous track record. Jamarcus Russell, I know. But it's so enticing, man. He had a phenomenal collegiate career 2 years ago, 4,500 yards, 44 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. This past year, he had a great game in the playoffs. They really unleashed him, very similar to Justin Herbert in the Rose Bowl a couple of years ago. 41 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 3,700 yards. He had a career completion percentage of 69.3 in his college career. 2 years ago, he had a completion percentage of 71.9. And, if you guys have been watching my videos recently or in the past year or so, especially around draft time, I'm a huge fan of, anybody from the SEC. I think it's the best clear-and-cut conference in college football. But, I don't like the misconception that you shouldn't draft an Ohio State quarterback because of the previous track record, because I think in a handful of years from now, Justin Fields and C.J. Stroud, it just won't even be... I think that'll be done. And keep in mind, C.J. Stroud is getting a lot of hype. And it's only going to continue as the season goes on. So, yeah, Bryce Young might be the first quarterback drafted. Will Levis might be the first quarterback drafted. C.J. Stroud might be the first quarterback drafted. I guess my point is, and I kind of voiced this in my last video, Will Levis he's an interesting quarterback. I do think he'll be above average. I don't think he'll quite be at the same level as Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. I think honestly it's a coin flip on who has a better professional career with CJ and Bryce. I've been seeing a lot of mock drafts with Will Levis going number 7 to the Raiders. Man, as an SEC advocate, saying I like all these guys from the SEC, Will Levis does worry me. I think in a senior season, I expected a lot more from Will, and it's not necessarily what I saw with my own 2 eyes. So, I guess the point of this video is I'm almost sold on CJ going 7. My one concern is he's going to go before then. That's my concern of it. So I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say. We saw Joe Burrow last year with a really bad offensive line. And actually this year he had the most sacks in NFL history from a quarterback. They dealt with a ton of injuries. But, I know the offensive line, at the end of the day, they really improved by season's end. It started really iffy, and they still had their moments. Obviously, it's very young, a lot of rotations, a lot of different players at different positions, not playing their true position, whatever the case was. A lot of guys coming in and out. So, yeah, I still want to target in the draft and free agency, regardless of who goes number 7 in the offensive line. And obviously the defense, I feel like it goes without saying, but we're mainly talking about the offense right now. I just feel when you have a guy like Pat Mahomes, when you have a guy like Joe Burrow, when you have a guy like Jalen Hurts, everything else comes in place. And just the thought having because I'm not a huge Mac Jones advocate. I don't think Tom Brady's coming to the AFC. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is coming to the Raiders. Lamar Jackson is extremely pricey. Jimmy Garoppolo he's okay, but I'd rather have a dynamic playmaker on a rookie contract at the quarterback position where you have at least a handful of years where he's going to make plays. He's just going to make plays. So I'm trying to think long term here, and I really think CJ Stroud, it's just the more film you watch, the more you read, the more playoff football you watch, it's becoming more and more clear to me that CJ Stroud turns this Raiders team and future, I think he elevates it. I think he takes them to the next level. So I'm curious to hear what Raiders fans have to say. So let me know down below in the comment section. As always, hit that like button, hit that sub button. We're really pushing for 8,000 subscribers sometime in the month of February. I appreciate you guys so much. Whether you like CJ or not, let me know down below, and I'll catch you guys later.